Hello, my name's Will, and welcome to yet another episode of What Would You Like to Learn Today? Today I've been asked by a musician friend of mine to explain how speakers work and how one single instrument is able to reproduce all of these different sounds. I thought it was a little odd that he was asking this since he's himself a musician, but it turns out these things are a little tricky, so you'll have to bear with me. So, the whole reason that people invented speakers was that they were trying to find a way to replicate sounds, alright? And as was the case with a lot of early inventors, you look at how nature solves this problem. Kind of the Wright brothers looked at the flights of gulls. Anyway, the way that we're set up to produce noises, such as the ones you're hearing right now, are by forcing air through a tight chamber that has like vibrating parts that causes the air to vibrate as it escapes. So a lot of the early things that people tried, Edison for example was into this, involved using compressed air to blow past vibrating metal strings that would then cause the sound to be emitted. Okay, but the problem with this is that then you need like a ready supply of compressed air, and that's not always convenient. Usually you need like separate canisters. It's a pain in the butt, really expensive, and eventually what they ended up working on was magnetic induction. Okay, so the basic way that a speaker is set up is, okay, first of all you've got a rigid basket, it's called, that does not vibrate and is damps out all the vibration. Okay, it's like usually made out of metal, like steel. Okay, that's the basket. All right, and then set in the basket, you've got a cone of paper. Okay, now it's usually truncated. It doesn't come down to a tip. Sometimes it can be really like oblique. Sometimes it can be a little more acute. It doesn't really matter. It depends on what space you're trying to cover, that sort of thing. And then there's also a little dust cap, which is what we usually see, and we wonder, what's that? That looks really important. It turns out, no, this part isn't important at all. It's just the sides of that are important, that make the actual sound, okay? Now, these down here, these connect to a wire of tightly wound stuff that usually copper, but you can also use silver or aluminum in a pinch. And that's tightly wound to create sort of an electromagnet, okay? And this is hooked up to whatever the circuit is that's driving it, an amp, usually, okay, or a monitor, whatever, okay? And then the key part of this that makes this work is there's a permanent magnet, okay? They used to use electromagnets, but that cost way too much. They did end up just using permanent magnets. Nowadays they end up using a lot of rare earth magnets in like the small speakers, like the ones that are in your fancy dancy little earbuds that you're so pretentious on the subway with. And the magnet is going to interact with this, the coil, to go up and down. So, all right, one last part of this is there's something called the suspension in the spider, which is that you need a way, so this is going to be jerking up and down on this, okay, and then you're going to need a way to get it to return back down. Okay, so we turn on the current, this is going to cause it to jerk up, then we need a way for it to come back down. And the way you do that is with an elastic suspension that holds it down, and that's often also combined with a spider, because it does kind of look like a spider, okay? Now, the way that this works, okay, so you've got your permanent magnet, okay, and then you've got the electromagnet that goes around it, okay, and as it receives the signal, it's going to jerk up and down and up and down and up and down, okay? Well, it's got to be a snugger fit than that, okay, so you wouldn't use this. This, okay, for example, okay, so we're receiving the signal from the amp, it's going up and down, up and down, it's your basic Western grip hand job, okay? And what this is going to cause to happen is the sides of the cone are going to be vibrating at the same frequency that you're transmitting to the electromagnet, which is causing the physical motion here, okay? And since you've got it suspended, you've got it tightly bound down, all the vibration can be very, very fast, okay? And it allows you to put out pretty much any vibration and sound waves which are caught by the cone. That's why you need the cone shape, so that it focuses all of that sound, okay, in the vibration that it causes in the air, okay, and it lets you be directional with it also, okay, but the key part is the vibration, and it vibrates anywhere where you need it to, okay, you can make really low sounds, really high sounds, whatever. Now, the question arose, how is it that we're able to replicate any sound with this? Well, and all sound is compression of air, okay, and what you're perceiving with your ears is just, your ears are telling you this is what frequency the air is vibrating at right now, okay? Now, there's lots of different things that happen with that vibration, okay? You can alter the pitch, you can alter the tone, Most of that you're going to need a synthesizer to do, to generate them ad hoc, okay? But all the speaker is doing, it's just responding to the output, okay? Whatever you put into it, it's going to spit out. That could be input from a mic, could be from a synth, could be from a MIDI file, it doesn't really matter, okay? All you're causing is the frequency that this is vibrating. And you can speed it up and slow it down, and that's what causes all the weird little deviations in pitch and tone that we love so dearly, but it doesn't really matter. Now, just a quick demonstration of all these, okay? So you can have, we're going to have a quick zoom up here, okay? You can see here, this is just a little one, all right? But you've got the magnet, you've got the basket, you've got the cone, and you've got the dust cap, okay? Now you can go a little bit larger. Okay, this is a little bit larger. Again, you've got the magnet, you've got the basket, which you can see actually has holes in it. Then you've got the cone and the dust cover. Okay, now, also, you're going to take this a little further, okay, and you can see we've got, again, the magnet, the basket, the cones, the dust cover, right? It doesn't matter what size you're looking at, it's all going to do the same things. Now, this is a pretty good magnet. You can see right there, that's just off of my stove right there, okay? Useful to have around the house, in case you need to, I don't know, wipe a hard drive or something. Now, let's see. So, now, now we're going to talk about how you can use these speakers to do something interesting, okay? Now, you're going to need to get your little earphones, okay, get them out of your pretentious skinny jeans, okay, and plug them into your computer so that you're listening on your headphones, okay. Won't work if you listen to it on the speakers on your computer, okay. They're crappy anyway. Give me a break. So the trick is, yes, your ear is only telling you what the vibration of the air at your eardrum is, but you have two eardrums, okay, and you can achieve some very interesting effects by subtly messing with the frequency of the sound that you're receiving, okay. Your auditory cortex is set up to analyze incoming sound, and it's looking for very small variations in the frequency between the two ears, okay? Because these small variations in frequency will allow your auditory cortex to decide the direction that the sound is coming from, okay? The further away it gets, it's going to be attenuated a little bit. Usually the frequency goes down a little bit. It'll be a little soft. There's all these little subtle little things, okay? So there's some fun things that you can do where you have two tones that are very, very, very similar to each other going through each of the speakers in your ears. And because they're in headphones, they don't interfere with each other, which is why you can't do it from your speakers, okay? And what you do is you set them so that one is just like 5 hertz off from the other, okay? Listen to this. Okay, that's actually 2 tones. Okay, I'm going to play them right. Okay, here's the left channel, and here's the right channel. Okay, now we put them together, and you'll notice that your brain is actually hearing something entirely different. Okay, this is what's called the binaural beat. Okay, and it's caused by interference between the two, and it's actually classified as an auditory hallucination, which is kind of fun. There's a lot of like New Age mysticism about like it allows you to vibrate in tune with the frequency of the universe and woo, but give me a break. It's just an interesting processing error, kind of like the blind spot in your eye field of vision. Now, and there's like another couple things you can do this, like for example, I'm going to take a sound and then I'm going to make it move. Okay, listen to this. Not bad, huh? Okay. The way you do that is you can vary the 2 different frequencies on the fly, and what your brain thinks is that one of the sequences is going to be a little closer. Okay, and that just your brain just tells you this. Okay, it's pretty clever how it's set up. Someday we're going to get computers that can do this also. We already have them, but they're quite the devil to program, whereas your brain programs itself. Very convenient. Okay,